Hello, friends. Welcome back to week 2 as I give you an inside look to how we go from an idea to products that deliver the healthy, clear skin that you deserve. The idea for this series came from you. So many of you have asked me over the years, and really more so lately, how do we make our products? Some people assume that we have a large manufacturer that does everything for us. They make it, they bottle it, they ship it out to you. Others assume that we use maybe a base. So it's pre-made stuff that we pour into a bottle and ship out to you. As I shared with you last week, when I started True North, I had to decide if I wanted to outsource the formulation, manufacturing, and packaging process, or if I wanted to keep it internally. And by keeping it internally, I could have had the product, or by outsourcing, I could have had the products, shipped to me pre-mixed. I could put them in a pretty bottle and just pop my label on it. And you know what? These options aren't bad. There are lots of brands, great brands out there that do that. But for me and True North, it just didn't feel right. So we formulate, manufacture all of our products in our award-winning lab right here in Maine, because I truly believe in having full control over the process and ensuring that we are able to maximize the performance of each and every clean, natural ingredient so that you can have the outcomes that you desire. Last week, I told you about the creation process and that it starts first with a problem that needs to be solved. Many times, these problems come from you telling me about your skin struggles and needs. I then try to figure out, do we have an existing product that will solve that problem? Or if it's used in a different way, will it solve the problem? And if the answer is no, then I know that we need to look at creating something specifically to address that concern. Once I have the problem clearly identified, I then think about the type of product to solve the problem. So I think about, is this a product an oil type product, like our face serum, for example? An oil only product? Is that something that will solve the problem? Or do I need more of a cream based product, which is an oil and a water emulsification, like our hydration cream? I then ask myself, what ingredients do I use to get the greatest benefit? And this is harder than it sounds, quite honestly. This part takes a lot of research for me. Are the products or the ingredients clean and effective? Can I guarantee that they are naturally derived and are clean and safe for our skins and all skin types? Do the ingredients complement chaga? Does the chemistry work when these ingredients are combined to bring out the effectiveness of each? So a lot goes in just to understanding what type of ingredients. So once I go through all of that, identify the problem, figure out what type of product we need, and then start thinking about the ingredients, I sit down and formulate. And here's where I'm going to get a little bit geeky with you this time, because this is really the fun part. So stick with me, because this is where the ideas come to life. And this is my favorite part of the process. I get to be both scientific and creative all at the same time. People often ask if I have a science background, and I don't. And I think that's okay. I knew when I started this business that I wanted to know exactly what was going into these products and why they were needed. And were there better options out there for your skin? And what would they really, really do for your skin? I could have easily partnered with a chemist and she could have created the formulas. But with this, I wouldn't have the insight that I truly felt that I needed to make products that I could sell and give to you, that you would in turn trust. And so I decided to do what every person who is creative and curious, I started studying. Now, I don't make skincare so that I can have something pretty on my name on a pretty bottle. I do it because I truly believe in having full control of the process. So I spent hours working through all of the different books and articles that I could read about skincare formulation and chemistry. In the early years, I was still working at my corporate job. So I would literally stay up all night long researching and studying. Even to this day, I spend about 10 hours a week keeping up with all of the new ingredients and the formulation trends. So, what do I actually do when I formulate? What do I mean when I say I formulate? I literally sit down old school with a piece of paper and a pencil, and I start listing out the ingredients that I know I have to have in this specific product. For example, when I started formulating the creamy cleanser for our spring skincare box, I knew that I wanted it to be velvety on the skin, but I also needed it to be lightweight and packed full of ingredients that would settle into the skin and not be in competition with the humidity that we're going to start experiencing in the spring. And I'll give you a sneak peek, and I hope that this will translate well. So this is our creamy cleanser. So beautiful, so creamy. That blue color, it's kind of a periwinkle color, is a really cool ingredient that we'll talk more about later on. So because I knew that I needed kind of a lighter weight product for you, I knew that I was going to have to make an emulsified product. And what that means is taking oil and water and combining it together. So for this formula, I needed ingredients that are soluble to water, like water, aloe, lavender hydrosol, for example. I also knew that I needed oils like butters or liquid oils. And I needed something that would allow the water and the oil to mix together. This is called emulsify, and also to thicken. So once I have the basics listed out, I had all of my kind of water ingredients, I had my oil ingredients, I had my thickeners and emulsifiers. I'm able to then really have fun and figure out what ingredients do I want to bring in that will complement chaga, that will feel amazing on your skin and address the problem that we're trying to solve. So this takes careful calculation because the formula at the end has to equal 100%. So I need to make sure that every ingredient that I'm putting in is effective, that I don't use too much, that it's actually going to create irritation, that I use enough to be effective, and that I'm not overusing and being wasteful to a natural ingredient. And I'll give you an example of that. When I was formulating our facial serum, I worked with a lot of different oils and I knew the texture, how I wanted it to feel. I knew that I needed this to be something that someone with oily, acne prone skin would be comfortable using and it would be effective for them, as well as someone with dry, more mature skin. So I needed to be really careful about the oil selection. There was one oil in particular, prickly pear, that the moment I experienced that oil, I knew that it had to be in this product. The problem is prickly pear is really rare, and because of that, it's very expensive. So if I used too much, I would, one, be overusing a natural resource really and not getting great effect from it. And two, I would be unnecessarily increasing the cost to my customer for something. So I had to be very careful about the amount that I put in so that it gave the effect, the experience on your skin, as well as the results, but that it wasn't too much. So once I go through this process of calculating everything, making sure everything is effective, that's considered draft one. I will likely tweak this formula 2 or 3 other times, and then eventually I will enter it into a spreadsheet that looks like this. And then I order the ingredients and I get ready to get in the lab. So that's the process. I really sit down, old school pencil and paper, think about what I'm trying to experience or trying to create, the experience that I'm trying to create. I pull in all of the ingredients, I balance everything. I take a look at the amounts that each ingredient requires, making sure that I'm not overusing anything. And then I calculate it out and order the ingredients. The next step is going into the lab. And so speaking of that, next week, we'll come together and I'll talk you through what small batch manufacturing looks like and why it's important and why it's such an important piece of what True North Beauty is all about. Also, please feel free to leave any comments, questions below. I really want this time together to be valuable and informative and fun. So let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything that I can answer for you. And as always, please help us reach more people. As you know, the Facebook algorithm is painful. And so the way that we can reach people that are interested in what we're talking about here is if you like, comment, and share. So please help us with that. Thanks as always. I hope you all have an amazing day and we'll catch up next week. Thanks. Bye.